There are many times as a music teacher, arranger, and performer that I wish that I had a digital version of some sheet music that I own, that I could play back, edit, or otherwise manipulate in music notation software. For instance, if I could take this hymn music and create audio tracks from the separate parts, then my choir, some of whom cannot read music, could learn their parts faster. Or I could create a customized accompaniment track from this solo work for my students, so that they can play with accompaniment at home and prepare better for their exams and performances without needing access to so many accompaniment sessions. Or I could take this band score and add string parts by copying and pasting sections from other instruments into the strings, allowing our school band and orchestra to play together at the end of a combined concert. I primarily use Sibelius software for all of these cases, and previously I would type out all of the music into Sibelius. I'm pretty comfortable with Sibelius and its tricks and shortcuts, so I can do this fairly quickly for some things. But it would be so much quicker if I could simply scan the music in, and it would pop up in Sibelius. Technology like this has been around for a while, but the few times I've tried it in the past, I've always been disappointed with the results. Asking a computer to recognize music notation like a human, and then recreate it as MIDI or MusicXML is a highly complex operation, often more complex than OCR or optical character recognition, largely because of the wide variety of music notation. This is almost never an error-free operation, and so any software that does music notation recognition also provides a way for you to fix errors that crop up. The biggest question always is, what's going to take more time? Scanning the score and fixing the errors, or writing it in from scratch? The team at ScanScore, the creators of Forte notation software, have sent me a free copy of their latest version of ScanScore to try out. Thanks to ScanScore for sponsoring this video. So, let's see how it does. ScanScore has three main options for creating music: importing from a flatbed scanner, importing an image or PDF, and importing from their smartphone companion app. I'm using Android. Taking sheet music from a scanner is the first option I would expect to see on similar software, and I would imagine would be the most used feature. Importing from PDF also makes a lot of sense, as many people have high-quality scans of their music, or can find high-quality scans of public domain music on websites such as imslp.org. Using a smartphone camera is a clever tie-in for ScanScore and could make things simpler and quicker for many people, if it works. To properly test these features out, I've used each of them as I would imagine the average musician or music teacher would need them. So I have imported a high-quality PDF of this hymn sheet music. I have also tried scanning a page from a band score with a flatbed scanner. And I have tried using the app to capture this trombone study. We'll look at each of these later on, because I wanted to get an idea of how much time editing any scanning errors would take. I have therefore taken a scan of this piano accompaniment and gone through the whole process of fixing up errors and importing the results into Sibelius. I also wrote out the score in Sibelius, as I am used to doing, and timed both operations as a direct comparison. I started writing out in Sibelius, and even though this first page has a lot of repetition, I used no copy and paste to make the process a bit more fair. As you can see, to add the entire page of piano music took about 16 minutes. Adding the cello part with all of the fingerings and other small details took the total to 25.5 minutes. Not too bad if I say so myself. The end result looks good, has all the details if I need to print it for whatever reason, and it sounds good too. Now for ScanScore. I chose a high DPI and black and white settings from the beginning, which are recommended on ScanScore's website to give better results than low DPI and color scanning. The scan itself took a fair amount of time, but eventually loaded in. My first look-through allowed me to be impressed with what ScanScore had done. There was even some detail, and lots of the left-hand sections needed almost nothing done to them. ScanScore has a way of reporting errors that crop up by underlining a bar and indicating which voice has the problem. Most errors in scanning will be about not having enough notes in a bar or having too many. The online manual was useful here, giving me a fast track to using the voices feature to correct errors. Some errors I found was notes being left out, which I added in manually Not much problem there. Or duplicates of the notes being added in different voices hiding behind each other, which were a bit of a pain to rectify. The keyboard shortcuts certainly helped a great deal once I figured them out, such as only showing notes in particular voices to figure out what the software has done. I didn't do much with the text because my main focus was in creating a backing track for my student, but the process still took a while, and there were some things I simply could not correct, such as this treble clef that refused to be added in the middle of the bar. Editing the piano part took only 12.5 minutes, a definite improvement on the Sibelius writing, so I moved on to the cello part. But I had not yet fixed all of the voice errors, and learning how to optimize that process took a while at the end, resulting in a total time of about 30 minutes. Exporting the MusicXML file into Sibelius and checking the notation in Sibelius to fix up any leftover errors took another 6 minutes or so, resulting in a total of 36 minutes. A good 10 minutes over writing out the part from scratch. And unfortunately, it just doesn't look as good, even with changing the instruments to remove those red out-of-range notes. However, the sound is pretty much the same, so the goal was achieved. I also think I could get a lot faster at fixing up errors in notation, bringing the total time down by a fair margin. Next, I loaded the hymn music as a PDF import. This should obtain the best results, since this PDF was not printed and scanned, but downloaded directly from the web. Unfortunately, in this score with 2 voices per staff, errors with voices were everywhere, and very often the software joined 2 notes on top of each other into a chord, requiring a notes separate from chord function, which can only be achieved through the menu. This function really needs a shortcut, as I found the same problem over and over. Next, I scanned the band score, always a challenge for scanning apps due to the large number of instruments and the detail required. After seeing the errors in the imported PDF, I was steeling myself for the worst. The first time I scanned, I forgot to set the quality to a high DPI and got pretty poor results. So I scanned again at 600 DPI, and I have to say I was pretty impressed with what I saw. The result looked neat, had detail, and few errors that would need fixing. This would certainly save a lot of time. I bumbled through the app connection with a few errors cropping up, but finally was able to import the picture I had taken with my Android Samsung A50. Again, I was impressed with the capabilities of what the software had done with just a smartphone camera, although when I zoomed in I could see that there were quite a few errors I would need to fix up, probably because there was not a very good resolution from the phone camera. My recommendation would be to use this feature only if you don't have a scanner available. So, anyone hoping this would be a quick, automatic solution to their digital sheet music wishes is going to be disappointed. However, I am really impressed with the capabilities of this software. There is something very satisfying about seeing all of the music created in a single scan, even if you know you will still have to spend a while going through it note by note to make sure that it is correct or fixing errors. I also look forward to further updates to ScanScore that make it easier and more intuitive to use, optimizing the workflow and improving the voice's algorithms. This kind of software has the potential to be an important tool, particularly in music education. ScanScore can be purchased from their website at scan-score.com. They have a few different options depending on what you need to do with the software, and they also have a free trial version for you to test out before you buy it.